Travis went good sell. Now they're starting to report that Mitch McConnell will be voting to acquit Trump, and that's what's expected, because it requires 17 Republicans to stand up to Trump, and they're not doing it. And the question is why. The GOP has the inverted pentagram on their elephant ever since the Nixon campaign got flipped upside down. If by chance you see a pentagram, do not let it stay. Quickly turn it upside down and worship Satan today. So, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints likewise has this inverted pentagram, as Senator Mike Lee is clearly going to acquit Trump as well, as his ancestor is John D. Lee of Mountain Meadows Massacre infamy, slaughtering women and children. And Lee is a descendant of a bloodthirsty man, and here he is going to acquit a bloodthirsty man who utterly destroyed America, as acquitting Trump will give rise to a future attack, as the 6th was just practice. But how do we identify the church as a satanic occult? Do we just call them Satanists who worship the devil? When I was a teenager on the basketball team for high school, we'd take the bus to travel to the various other schools, and one evening while I was in my seat rocking out my cassette player, Peter Paulino, who is a fellow Twin Tower on the team. This was before 9/11, obviously. We were also called what was it? Can't remember his animal. I was the mule, and he was, I think, the bull. But regardless, yeah, we'd known each other. We were in post positions, so trained with Coach Lubin, who was our specialist coach for the big guys on the team, and Peter Paulino belonged to the born-again Christian church that occupied the corner of Corona High School. I went to Norco High School, as did Peter, obviously, but he traveled across the freeway to go to the born-again Christian church, as I, with my family, drove across the freeway to get to the LDS church, which was across the street from the school, and the born-again Christian church. And I would drive there in the early mornings for early morning seminary. He, one evening, did a sign of the devil and called me a Satanist, because I was Mormon and he was born-again Christian. That was an ad hominem attack, because I knew I wasn't worshiping Satan. Not that I knew. So why would Peter do such a thing? Why would he accuse me of such a thing? And it's no different than Mormons who attack me with ad hominem for being an LDS critic, for putting thumbs down on my videos. It's exactly what Peter Paulino did to me as a Mormon. Mormons do it to ex-Mormons as they attack and abuse and bully other people who have had experiences of how wicked the church is. And so what about a bishop or a member of the church who is not Christ-like towards us, and we leave the church because of those individuals? Are we justified in calling the whole church satanic and wicked because of individuals? No, not that either. And so, what about the sign? The inverted pentagram on the elephant for the Republican Party. It's the same on the Utah Republican Party. They adopted the same inverted pentagram for Utah's symbol. The church has that symbol also. Are we able to then say, oh, well, you have the sign of Lucifer, you're obviously satanic? In part. It's just a sign. The church denies the sign. They come out and say, well, hey, we're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Jesus Christ is in our name. Therefore, we're not Satanists. Therefore, the symbol of Satan is not real. Truth isn't true. Reality isn't real. Satan is Jesus. And here's the thing. In the Book of Mormon introduction, Wilford Woodruff is quoted from his journal from a meeting he attended with Joseph Smith as a speaker. And the church has led us to believe that... hold on a second. Let me take your program here. All right. I forgot where I was. I don't want to have to stop the video, rewind. We don't rewind anymore, do we? Find the right spot and try to figure out what it was that I was going to talk about. Yes, the introduction to the Book of Mormon. Joseph is quoted as having said, "The Book of Mormon is the most correct of any book on the earth and is the keystone of our religion." And then he continues, "And a man will draw nearer to God by abiding by its precepts than by any other book." Too many people criticize that part where it says the most correct book, as people find out that it's been plagiarized, that it's not an actual history of the indigenous people of America, and etc., etc., etc. You've missed the whole point. It's the keystone of Mormonism. Mormons miss this, as they've forgotten their roots. Can't remember that song anymore. I just remember that part of the song, Roots. And the reason why it's the keystone of Mormonism is because of the precepts that will make you godlike. You can say Christ-like if you want. That's okay. And so why then are Mormons following the Antichrist of the Book of Mormon? That's weird. I cannot understand this. We all have the Book of Mormon. I'm pretty sure we all read it. Mormons claim they do. Mormons claim that they love the Book of Mormon and that they embrace it and cherish it. cherish the love. So many songs using so many words in our English language that trigger those memories. And so at least you can understand what the symbolism of a keystone carving is. That it represents the doctrines that are taught within the building. That's why they're over the door, on the keystone of the doorway, is to let those who enter therein know and identify the doctrines that are to be taught within the building. Brigham Young's Ponderosa had a gateway with an arch with the inverted pentagram as well. It's called the Eagle Gate. And now it's at Temple Square, and in bronze, right there on State Street. And so those who are driving up State Street to go to the Capitol, they will see that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, from where it is, those who enter therein to go to the Capitol building now know and understand that Lucifer controls the state of Utah. Not just the inverted pentagrams on the elephant for the Utah GOP. I found out they even control the federal courts. But yes, on the arch of the door of the Salt Lake Temple, where we get our wedding photos taken. My room was number 13. Kind of wonder if they were mocking me. But that is how you identify the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a satanic occult. Occult. Not just cult. Occult. Because of the doctrines that are taught within the Salt Lake Temple. And what are those doctrines and principles within the Salt Lake Temple? Mormonism, specifically Moses chapter 4 verses 1 through 4, which Brigham Young did not have in his possession when he came to Utah, or the Salt Lake Valley rather. That was a later edition that was put into the 1981 edition of the Scriptures, the Triple Combination. It was preserved by Franklin D. Richards, who was the mission president in England. He made a pamphlet and then had included Moses with it. And that's why the Brighamite Church has it in its possession. The Community of Christ have always had it. They call it the Joseph Smith revision of the Bible, not the Joseph Smith translation. And what does Moses explain to us of Lucifer's doctrine? Well, we all know, don't we? Agency. Lucifer takes agency away. He says, as he gives his rebuttal to Heavenly Father, I don't like your plan of salvation for mankind, having 3 kingdoms of glory, depending on how we want to live our lives. Because the highest degree of celestial kingdom is only for those who want to have babies for all eternity. Women no longer have the curse of the gush. and are able to have billions of babies. If the theology is correct, we'll take a side note here. The Earth is several billion years old. Let's find out. I won't do the full math formula for you, but we have 7 billion people on Earth today, minus those who have died from coronavirus, and those who were not able to have birth or have babies conceived due to coronavirus, as only pandas were able to revive their lack of sexual desire. Let's see. How old is the Earth? Oh, it showed 4.543 billion years old. Okay, so remember, Mormons, we believe that Heavenly Father lived on an earth before the creation of this earth. And so if our earth is 4.543 billion years old, then that's when Heavenly Father became exalted. However, he had to have all us spirit children first, because then we had this council in heaven where he talked about the plan of needing to build an earth whereon these may dwell. And so we're now looking even further back in time. How old is let's see, the solar system. What about galaxy? The galaxy is 13.51 billion years old. Now, if we assume that Heavenly Father obtained this galaxy for his eternal exaltation, we're looking at 9 billion years from the time of this galaxy to when the Earth was created within the galaxy. The solar system, interestingly enough, was only 300 million years before our Earth. It's because the solar system begins with a sun that explodes, and that material forms the Earth. So thus only 300 million, or 30 million, sorry. And the sun being 450 something until when the sun was created. So sun first, after the central explosion, creating the solar systems and the Earth along with it. And so Heavenly Father then would have been exalted around 13.51 billion years ago. See where we're going with this? So we had 9 billion years to have children. 9 billion. How many humans are on Earth? 7 billion. Ooh. Uh-oh. He has to have a child every year if we go by the current population. Mankind has been on Earth for quite a while. The universe is only 13.8 billion. So 300 billion later, and our galaxy was born. Our galaxy is the oldest, by the way, which is strange. There's some complications that astronomers are telling us, or they're not telling us. But let's see, how many humans have been on Earth? 105 billion is the estimated calculation. Wow. 105? Well, 9 billion means that if there's just one Heavenly Mother, not a polygamous situation, that for 9 billion years there would have had to have been about 10 children born every year. That's just a rough estimate. You might want to check my math. So how many of you women want to be decatuplets, or is it decatuplets? I think it's decatuplets. Each and every year for 9 billion years. Remember, no curse, no gush. So, Lucifer's plan was to exalt everybody. We've got to populate the universe. We got to brighten it up. It's too dark, too cold. Turn on the light. Start the fire. Light the universe on fire. And he says, I will redeem all mankind. And the reason why he was going to do it was to destroy the agency of man. Now, how do you destroy somebody's agency? Well, you take away their life, liberty, and property. You use extortion, threats, crimes to take away somebody's agency. That's what the doctrine of Lucifer is. Saving people through crime. I'm only murdering you because I love you. Love to hate you. Depeche Mode. And so, is the church involved with any of this? Or are they defying the sign and symbol on their temple and on their eagle gate? Well, we know that the government situation is accurate. They're trying to justify a coup d'etat of America. That they're okay with the attempted murder of Mike Pence, the attempted murder of Nancy Pelosi, the attempted murder of Mitt Romney. They're okay with murder. That's a crime. So yes, the GOP is satanic, confirmed. What about the church? Oh, right, we have this coronavirus, don't we? The church, as is reported from last night on Fox 13 News Utah, profited $6 billion from just Ensign Peak Associates, because the church had to reveal all their information from Ensign Peak Associates thanks to the whistleblower. But none of the other LLC companies or investment companies or business assets are being revealed. So it's more than $6 billion that the church profited from coronavirus for 2020. And so take all of the news reports from the church about how they donated food, total it all up, and then do a percentage of more than 6 billion. Yeah, we're 0.000. So that's priestcraft. And the church is not shutting down the church to save lives. I've been paying attention to the stats. Sunday's church is a super spreader event. It is getting less, but only because there's a certain limit to those who attend the various wards. So eventually, they're going to get everybody in church. Church is specifically being used to infect everybody. And the church isn't shutting it down. They're just going to keep on going until everybody gets it. 3 apostles got it. The 3 at the lower end. According to Paul Adams, who I don't hear much from, I don't understand why. YouTube's not being friendly with my subscribing to him. But he once talked about how when you get into the upper 6, you are extorted with $1 million to keep the great grand secret. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, well, yeah, you got to show documents. You got to show receipts. You can't just throw that out there. As time has gone by and I've done other confirmations, he may not be off, as the lower 3 were the only ones who have gotten coronavirus. Interesting. But yet we have, as of yesterday, over 2,300 Utahns who have died. And that's not counting those in the elderly care facilities who were not reported. Governor Cuomo of New York is under fire right now because they've exposed that he was purposely not divulging the number of deaths in the elderly care facilities. So if he did it, you think that the government that is controlled by Lucifer, would they not do that? Would they be open and honest with us? No, they wouldn't. There are more people dead. As the church membership stats, as I also did that video this morning, is again showing further drop in the overall membership. And we'll find out the actual numbers after conference by looking at the site, because the church doesn't want to reveal it to us that the church is losing membership at a record-breaking pace. As the one news lady from ABC4 News Utah had told us way back in 2012. But it's still applicable today, and that's why I still use her clip in my videos. So yeah, when we read in the Book of Mormon about the great and abominable church, about the church of the rich Zoramites, about the church of King Noah, about the church of the Lamanites, of the church of the Antichrists, which joined with the secret combination government, we see very clearly with eyes wide open. Not eyes wide shut. If anybody knows that movie, Mormons can't watch it because There's lots of beautiful women in there. And involves Satan worshiping as well. There is no doubt. And that's why Mormons attack. That's why Mormons put the thumbs down. That's why Mormons throw out ad hominems in reverse. They try to distract. They come up with all sorts of excuses. Well, everybody's doing it. No, I'm not going to normalize your doing it. I'm doing it because I'm telling the truth. You're doing it to distract and lie and deceive, like Satan's church does. So, understand and know that I can't give this video each and every single video I do. So when I refer to the church as satanic, when I refer to the inverted pentagram, it is this video's information that I'm referring to. And I can't put little footnotes, reference notes, or whatever to this video. It's just not going to happen. And the way YouTube has it set up, it makes it difficult for my viewers to be caught up on all things Mormon criticism. And so, I'm recognizing that I'm having to redo, update the basic information that I did 2,000 videos ago. So I hope this helps you understand, if you're an ex-Mormon, that you are aware of the inverted pentagram but didn't know much about it and how it works and whatever. Yes, we can all call Mormons Satanists. The problem is, why can't Mormons acknowledge and accept it? Why do they continue to lie and deceive? Oh, right, they're Satanists. That's why.